best way to have finished that movie was to just cut off the guy's head, and then we would know that yes, there was a real conquering. Jagun Jagun Jagun. Hello guys, this is Comedian Abimbola Victoria Oligidi, and here is my movie review about Jagun Jagun, the newest movie released by Femi Adebayo. Wow, what a movie! It's quite intense, 2 hours plus movie. A story about love, about pride, about power, about the society, about politics. It just cuts across everything. And my favorite part of the movie was when all was said and done, and there was particularly a line that was addressing, let me just say, the Nigerian youth, talking about how politicians are using the youths on the streets, their evil beatings, and their own children are nowhere to be found on the battlefield, and the protagonist, Femi Adebayo, and then there was also another lead actor, Lateef Adedimeji. Very phenomenal acting. And the key lesson for me is the fact that when you have power, you should not let it get into your head. I think everybody knows that. But I think the salient thing about the entire scenario is the fact that you should know when to draw the line and when you should stop pursuing your enemies. It reminds me of the case of Pharaoh when he was chasing the children of Israel. He should have just sat in his palace, and allowed them to go. But he followed them till himself and his army drowned in the sea. That was exactly the case of this particular guy. He kept, giving this guy tasks and then kept changing the goalpost till eventually he met his Waterloo. So we need to be careful when we are in charge and when we seemingly have power and we feel we can do anything. No matter, with great power comes great responsibility. And this guy totally missed it. And obviously, he was a corrupt leader. All the power he had, he was using it to loot villages, using it to cause internally displaced persons, Reminds me of the Nigerian situation once again. Just imagine a warlord somewhere that is in charge of Boko Haram, and the corrupt politicians are the ones, funding him to go and displace villages so that they can take all their wealth and, be in charge of something that should never even be in their hands to begin with. You get what I mean? So that's just like the whole story. I don't want to give it away, but it's a beautiful story. And then the part that Lateef Adedimeji played, beautiful. For me, it was just a case of him recognizing his strength and his superpower and making the best use of it. When they first showed him, they first showed us how Femi Adebayo was going about, being the one that kings go to meet to to go to war on their behalf, and then they showed this guy that was coming in the forest, and he had the ability to speak to trees. So what I loved the most about how they were able to write the story was the fact that in the era in which the movie was set, wood was used for almost everything. Even in present day, there is a lot that we still use wood for. But he had that insight of everything that wood was made to use for. So whether it was a tree that was still alive in the forest, or that it had been used and transformed into maybe a casket, a gun, a cutlass, the end of a knife, whatever has wood in it, guess what? This guy had the command of it. And for me, it's an insight to say that know the length and breadth of what you are gifted in and use it maximally. Because trust me, if this guy didn't know that after the tree had been turned into a table, he can still speak to it, the guy would have been long dead. And him being able to recognize a particular the type of tree that was used to make a particular object also helped him to speak to them even when they have been made into something. Very incredible. So that's the key lesson for me, that you should know the length and breadth of your ability and be able to maximize it. I love the way the storyline was written and all the suspense that came with it, and the discovery of who was under the masquerade. I didn't see that part coming, and I loved how it was unveiled and how it was revealed. I loved it. It was well written. They wrote that part very, very well. But then I think there were some scenes that I felt that like at the end of the movie, trust me, if I wrote it, I would have cut off the head of Jagun Jagun himself. But it seems to me that there's probably a part 2. Maybe that's why they didn't cut off his head. But if they are going to do part 2, it had better be 200% better than part 1. Because I think the best way to have finished that movie was to just cut off the guy's head, and then we would know that yes, there was a real conquering. But on the scale of 1 to 10, I'll give the movie a 9. It was really good. Until next time, it's Queen Billion, and I'm signing out.